Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be tackling the world of social sciences and how they try to grapple with these huge forces that are shaping our lives, globalization,
Yes.
inequality, and, of course, this ever-evolving landscape of technology.
Yeah,
We've got a really interesting mix of sources for this one.
I'm excited.
We've got academic texts, research papers, even a news snippet.
Oh, cool.
So hopefully,
A little something for everyone.
yeah, get those intellectual gears turning.
Definitely.
So,
Well, you know what's so fascinating to me is
yeah.
how we often view social sciences as these separate fields
Right.
when really they're all so interwoven.
Mm-hmm.
Like understanding economic inequality requires insights from sociology, psychology,
Yeah,
even history.
absolutely.
So it's all connected.
Yeah. So instead of getting bogged down in definitions and stuff,
Right.
let's just jump right into the deep end with globalization.
Yeah.
Our source globalization takes us all the way back to the ancient Silk Road.
Wow.
And not just for the trade of goods, but as this early example of how interconnectedness really shapes societies.
It's a point that's often missed, I think.
Yeah.
Beyond just the silk and spices,
Right.
the Silk Road spread religions, philosophies,
Oh, yeah.
even artistic styles.
It's true.
So it wasn't just about what moved, but how those exchanges transformed cultures along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point about interconnectedness, even back then you had innovations like coins, better roads, agricultural surplus.
Right.
Those weren't just economic boosts. They were the tech that made deglobalization possible.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if those ancient traders had any idea
Right.
of the long-term impact they were setting in motion.
It's doubtful.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about globalization.
Yeah.
It's this constant evolution,
Mm-hmm.
each era building upon the last.
Right.
So you go from the age of exploration to the Industrial Revolution, and technology is always that driving force.
And then, boom, the information age hits.
Right.
And it's like globalization on warp speed.
Totally.
We can watch the Olympics live from across the world,
Yeah.
get instant news from every corner of the planet,
Incredible.
and travel internationally with relative ease.
It really is.
It's mind-boggling when you think about it.
It is, but this accelerated interconnectedness has a flip side.
Oh, yeah.
Events in one place can have these immediate and far-reaching consequences globally,
Right.
whether it's a financial crisis
Yeah,
or, a viral pandemic.
that's true.
So it really highlights the importance of understanding, the interconnectedness of our world and the need for international cooperation to really address these challenges.
Speaking of challenges,
Yeah.
the article, How is Technology Changing the World? Starts with a question that's been bugging me.
Okay.
Is technology ultimately a force for good or for ill?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like this constant tug of war between optimism and anxiety.
Totally.
Schumpeter, the economist the article mentions, he was all about innovation as the engine of economic growth.
Right.
And you see that playing out right.
Yeah.
Technology has this potential
Yeah.
to tackle issues like climate change, food security,
Yeah.
even eradicate diseases.
It's pretty exciting when you think about it.
It's easy to get caught up in that excitement, for sure.
Oh, definitely. But then there's the other side of the coin.
Right.
The article talks about algorithms with these inherent biases, the potential for widening inequality, even the creation of weapons we can barely fathom.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah, it's like for every step forward, there's a shadow lurking behind.
It's important to acknowledge that shadow. I think, remember the Luddites? Those folks who smashed textile machines?
Oh, yeah.
They were seen as backward at the time,
Right.
but their fear of technology's impact on jobs and society, those anxieties,
Totally.
those resonate even today, just on a grander scale.
Yeah, it's like we're more connected than ever,
Right.
but are we really in control?
Good question.
Take the internet, for example.
Okay.
It started as this platform for sharing information,
Right.
and bam, it explodes into e-commerce, online communities, and sadly,
Yeah.
a breeding ground for cybercrime.
And then there's social media
Oh, yeah.
platforms intended for connection that become these hotbeds of political division and misinformation.
Yeah.
Even cryptocurrency,
Right.
initially envisioned as this decentralized financial system,
Yeah.
now faces scrutiny for its environmental impact.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's almost like a cautionary tale.
Yeah,
Just because we can invent something doesn't mean we fully understand its long-term implications.
exactly.
And those implications can be social, political, economic, ethical. It's a whole tangled web.
Precisely. And that's why the role of social scientists is more crucial than ever.
Yeah.
They help us unpack these complexities, anticipate those unintended consequences, and perhaps steer technological development towards a more equitable and sustainable future.
So it's not about rejecting technology, but about approaching it with a critical eye.
Yes.
Recognizing both its potential and its pitfalls.
Absolutely.
And maybe even learning from the mistakes of the past, like those Luddites who were trying to sound the alarm in their own way.
Right.
But let's shift gears a bit and talk about another massive challenge facing our world: inequality.
Okay.
The IMF article, Introduction to Inequality, dives into this issue.
Yeah. The article starts by defining income inequality.
Okay.
And explaining how it's measured using the Gini coefficient, which essentially quantifies how evenly income is distributed within a population.
Okay.
And then it gets interesting because it makes this distinction between global inequality and within country inequality.
Okay, so break it down for me.
Sure.
Is the gap between the haves and have-nots shrinking or widening?
Well, here's the catch.
Okay.
While global inequality, meaning the gap between rich and poor nations, has been declining since the 1990s.
Okay.
Within country inequality, the gap between rich and poor citizens within nations, particularly developed ones, is actually on the rise.
So on a global scale, things seem to be moving in a positive direction, but zoom in on individual countries and a different picture emerges.
Exactly.
That's just a nuanced perspective, and I'm guessing there's no single explanation for these trends.
Right. The IMF article points to this complex interplay of factors.
Okay.
On a global level, you've got things like technology and globalization playing a role. And then on a national level, economic policies and social safety nets, or the lack thereof, also contribute to these trends.
So it's not just about economics. It's about the policies and the structures within each country that either exacerbate or mitigate those global forces.
Exactly.
But here's the question that always pops into my head. Does inequality really matter beyond just the numbers?
That's a question more people should be asking.
Yeah.
The IMF doesn't just present data.
Right.
It highlights the consequences. Rising inequality can lead to social and political instability.
Wow.
And it can even undermine long-term economic growth.
So it's not just a moral issue.
Yeah.
It's an economic one as well.
It's both.
It makes you wonder, how can social scientists help us navigate these complex issues? Not just analyze them, but actually offer solutions.
That's where the SSRC article, Social Science and Contemporary Social Problems, comes in.
Okay.
It dives into the role of social scientists as problem solvers. And it starts by citing Henry Rieken, who makes this crucial distinction between understanding a problem and actually solving it.
That seems obvious, but I bet it's something that often gets overlooked.
I think so.
Like, just because we can diagnose the issue doesn't mean we automatically have the cure. So how do social scientists bridge that gap between analysis and action?
Well, the article stresses the need for these interdisciplinary approaches.
Okay.
No single social science holds all the answers.
Right.
You need economists talking to sociologists, psychologists, collaborating with anthropologists.
Right.
It's about recognizing that interconnectedness of these issues and bringing diverse perspectives to the table.
It's that web idea again.
It is.
Okay, so they've analyzed the problem, gathered insights from different fields. Now, what? How do they actually go about implementing solutions?
Well, the SSRC article introduces this concept of social engineering.
Okay. Social engineering.
Yeah, which might sound a bit intimidating.
Yeah, it conjures up images of some, like, sci-fi dystopia controlling people's thoughts and actions.
Right, but that's not what it's about.
Okay.
It's about applying social science insights to design and implement solutions to social problems.
Okay.
It's less about control and more about these nudges and incentives, informed by a deep understanding of human behavior and societal structures.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Can you give me, like, a concrete example of what that might look like in the real world?
Sure. Think about behavioral economics.
Okay.
Policies designed to kind of nudge people towards making environmentally friendly choices, like offering tax breaks for solar panels.
Right.
Or making public transportation more accessible.
Okay.
Or in the field of psychology, Interventions aimed at reducing prejudice and discrimination by fostering empathy and understanding between different groups.
So it's about understanding the levers of human behavior and social systems, and then using that knowledge to nudge things in a more positive direction.
Exactly.
It sounds almost like a delicate balancing act.
It is. And the SSRC acknowledges that there are challenges.
Yeah.
Social science research often requires long-term funding, which can be difficult to secure, especially when there's no guarantee of immediate results.
That makes sense. Politicians and funders often want quick wins.
Yeah.
But tackling these complex social issues takes time and sustained effort.
It does.
And sometimes even if you have the solutions, getting people on board with those solutions is a whole other hurdle.
Absolutely.
It's like marketing those solutions, right?
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
The article raises this very question.
Okay.
Who's responsible for marketing those solutions?
Yeah.
Is it the role of government, private enterprise, or a combination of both?
Yeah.
It's a question that goes beyond research and delves into the realms of policy communication and public perception.
And that brings us to another critical aspect of social science research data and the ethical considerations surrounding it.
Yeah.
The SSRC article touches on the idea of a national data system, which on the surface sounds like an incredible resource for research.
It has the potential to be a game changer for researchers, giving them access to this wealth of information that could lead to groundbreaking discoveries.
Right.
But it also raises concerns about privacy.
Of course.
And the potential for misuse.
It's that classic dilemma, isn't it?
It is.
The potential benefits of knowledge versus the potential risks to individual freedoms.
Right.
And this isn't just some abstract debate.
No.
It's a question that's increasingly relevant in our data-driven world.
It is, and it's a question that we as a society need to grapple with.
Absolutely.
Where do we draw the line between the pursuit of knowledge
and
the protection of individual rights?
It's a complex issue.
It is.
With no easy answers.
It is. And it's a perfect place to pause our deep dive for now.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground, from ancient globalization to the double-edged sword of technology, from the nuances of inequality to the challenges of translating social science insights into real-world solutions.
It's a lot.
Join us for part 2, where we'll continue to unravel these complexities.
I can't wait.
And explore the ways in which social scientists are shaping our understanding of the world around us.
Sounds good.
See you then.
Okay.
Welcome back. In part 1, we left off on this question of where to draw the line between pursuing knowledge and protecting individual rights. It seems like a particularly relevant question when we're talking about social science research.
It is.
And the potential impact it can have on people's lives.
It's a question that social scientists grapple with constantly, and it highlights this point made in the SSRC article.
Okay.
It's not just about, avoiding harm.
Right.
It's about using that knowledge and expertise for good.
Yeah.
To create a more just and equitable society.
It's like social science can help us see those blind spots.
Yeah.
Those biases we might not even be aware of.
Right.
And hopefully lead us towards more inclusive solutions.
Exactly. And it's not just about these big abstract concepts like justice or equality.
Right.
Social science insights can help us improve everyday life. Think about communication.
Yeah.
Conflict resolution. Building stronger communities.
Yeah.
It's about understanding those micro-level interactions that build up to those larger societal structures.
Okay, so we've talked about how social science can help us understand and potentially address issues like globalization technology and inequality, but those are massive, ever-changing forces.
Right.
How do social scientists even keep up?
It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
The pace of technological change is accelerating.
Right.
Globalization is blurring boundaries. And it's like trying to hit a moving target.
Yeah, it's tough.
The SSRC article acknowledges this, arguing that social scientists need to be adaptable, innovative, and willing to embrace these new methods and approaches.
So it's not just about studying the world as it is, it's about anticipating what it might become.
Exactly.
That sounds like it requires a lot of collaboration.
It does.
Not just within the social sciences.
Right.
But across disciplines.
You're spot on. No single field can fully grasp the complexity of these global trends.
Right.
You need economists, political scientists, anthropologists, psychologists, historians, all working together to understand how technology and globalization are transforming the very fabric of our society.
It's like each discipline brings a different lens to the table,
Yeah.
a different way of seeing the problem.
Exactly.
But it's not just about understanding, is it?
No.
It's about trying to anticipate those unintended consequences.
Exactly. And that's where the human factor comes into play.
Okay.
We can map out all the technological advancements,
Right.
but it's much harder to predict how people will actually use those technologies, how they'll adapt, what new social norms will emerge.
So technology gives us the tools, but social science helps us understand the human element, the motivations, the desires, the fears that drive our behavior.
Precisely. And it's not just about individual behavior. It's about the power structures
Right.
that those technologies might create or reinforce. The how is technology changing the world?
Yeah.
Article touched on this, arguing that technology isn't neutral.
Right.
It embodies the values and assumptions of its creators.
That's a really important point.
It is.
Like, we need to be thinking critically about not just what technology can do, but who it's designed for and what values it represents.
I could agree more. And that's where the role of social scientists becomes even more crucial.
Okay.
They can raise awareness about these issues, challenge those assumptions, and advocate for more inclusive and equitable technological development.
So it's not just about studying technology.
No.
It's about shaping it.
Yes.
Making sure it serves the needs of all of humanity.
Absolutely.
Not just a select few.
Yes. And recognizing that technology isn't like a quick fix.
Right.
It's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Yeah.
The choices we make today about development, regulation, integration into our lives, those choices have ripple effects for generations to come.
It's a huge responsibility.
It is.
And it makes me think about the role of power.
Okay.
We've touched on it in relation to technology and inequality. But the SSRC article suggests that power is this like underlying force.
It is.
That permeates every aspect of social life.
From individual interactions to global systems,
Wow.
power dynamics influence our access to resources, our opportunities for success, even how we perceive the world.
It's like this invisible hand shaping everything.
It is.
And for social scientists, understanding these power dynamics is crucial, right?
Hey, absolutely.
Because it impacts not just the research findings, but the very questions we ask and how we interpret data.
It's about recognizing our own positionality,
Okay.
our own biases, and how they might be influencing our perspective, and acknowledging that knowledge itself is a form of power.
Right.
Who gets to produce that knowledge?
Yeah.
Who controls its dissemination?
That's
Whose voices are amplified and whose are silenced?
a sobering thought.
It is.
If we're not aware of those power dynamics,
Yeah.
are we just perpetuating the very inequalities we're trying to understand?
It's a real risk.
Yeah.
And one that social scientists need to be constantly vigilant about.
Yeah.
But it's not just about like identifying how power operates.
Right.
It's also about finding ways to shift those power dynamics,
Okay.
to empower marginalized communities and create a more equitable distribution of resources and opportunities.
So social science can be a tool for both understanding and challenging power.
It is.
Right.
And it's about recognizing that social change doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
It's a long, often messy process.
Yeah.
But it's a process that social scientists can and should be actively engaged in.
Okay. I'm picking up on a lot of optimism here.
Yeah.
Despite all the complexities and challenges, there's this sense that social science can make a positive difference in the world.
And I think that optimism stems from the fact that social science is ultimately about understanding and improving the human condition. It's about finding solutions to problems,
Right.
creating a better future for ourselves and for future generations.
And it's about empowering people, giving them the knowledge and tools to advocate for change. Right.
So social science can be this powerful force for social justice, for equality, for sustainability.
Yeah.
It helps us understand the root causes of problems and points us towards solutions that are both effective and equitable.
And it can help us challenge the status quo,
Yes.
disrupt those power structures,
Absolutely.
and create a more just and inclusive world.
Exactly. Every day, social scientists around the world are working to make a difference
Wow.
in their research. They're teaching their engagement with communities and policymakers.
It's inspiring to know there are people dedicating their lives
Yeah.
to understanding and improving the human experience.
It is.
But we haven't really talked about the people doing the research,
Oh.
the diversity within the field itself.
Right.
And I don't just mean research topics.
But the diversity of the researchers themselves.
That's a crucial point. For too long, social science has been dominated by this narrow range of perspectives, primarily white, Western, and male. And that's a problem because it limits our understanding of the world. It creates blind spots and reinforces those very power imbalances we've been discussing.
So we need more diversity in social science. In terms of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic background, all of it.
Absolutely. Different people bring different experiences, different perspectives, different ways of seeing the world. That richness of perspective is essential for producing more accurate, more nuanced, and ultimately more useful knowledge.
And it's not just about the knowledge.
No.
It's about creating a more just and inclusive field.
Exactly. It's about creating opportunities for people from all backgrounds to contribute to the field, to share their insights, and to shape the direction of research.
Diversity isn't just like a nice to have.
It's
essential for the future of social science.
So as we wrap up part 2, I'm left with the sense of both the immense challenges facing social scientists, but also this incredible opportunity to make a positive impact.
I agree. The key is to embrace both the complexity and the hope. To recognize that there are no easy answers. But to keep striving for a better understanding of ourselves and our world.
And to never lose sight of the human element, right? The fact that behind all the data, behind all the theories, are real people with real lives and real experiences.
You said it. And it's those people, those stories, those lived realities that should be at the heart of our work as social scientists.
Join us for part 3 as we delve into specific areas where social science is making a real-world impact. Tackling issues like inequality, technology, and globalization head-on. Welcome back to our final part. We've explored the complexities of social sciences, but now let's get concrete. The IMF article we talked about earlier highlighted rising social spending as a key strategy in combating inequality.
It is.
Is that where social science meets real-world policy?
It's a prime example. Economists have done tons of research showing that well-designed social safety nets, like unemployment insurance, food assistance, even universal health care, can significantly reduce poverty and make societies more equitable.
But the article also mentioned that these policies have a weaker effect in developing economies, which contributes to their higher inequality. So it's not just about throwing money at the problem.
Exactly. That's why the social science research is so vital. It helps us understand the specific needs of different communities, figure out the most effective ways to deliver services, and even anticipate potential unintended consequences of policies.
It's each context is so unique that a one-size-fits-all approach just won't cut it.
It won't.
And this reminds me of something else from the IMF article. They said you can't solve inequality without tackling things like education, healthcare, and access to opportunity.
It all circles back to that interconnectedness we keep discussing.
It really does.
Social problems rarely exist in isolation. They're all intertwined.
Shifting gears to technology, which, as we've discussed, can be a double-edged sword.
It can.
The how is technology changing the world piece acknowledged the potential risks, but also highlighted some really exciting potential solutions for global challenges.
It did. We're seeing these incredible advancements in areas like renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, even personalized medicine. These innovations have the potential to create a future where everyone has access to clean energy, nutritious food, and quality healthcare.
That's a future I can get behind. But the article also cautioned against techno-solutionism, this idea that technology alone can solve all our problems. It felt like a reminder that technology is a tool.
It is.
And it's up to us to use it wisely.
Absolutely. The article emphasized that social science helps us navigate these complexities. We need to understand the political and the ethical implications of these new technologies. Anticipate those unintended consequences. And guide development in a direction that benefits all of humanity.
It's like technology might give us the what, but social science helps us understand the how and the why.
Exactly. It's about ensuring that technology serves human needs, not the other way around. And crucially, that everyone benefits from progress, not just a privileged few.
This brings us back to globalization, which has had such a profound impact on our world.
It has.
As highlighted in the Globalization source. It traced this interconnectedness all the way from the Silk Road to the digital age, showing how it's not just about economics, but like the flow of ideas, people, and culture.
And that flow is always shaped by power dynamics, inequality, and the legacies of history, like colonialism. That's why understanding globalization requires a multidisciplinary approach. We need economists, political scientists, sociologists, historians, all working together to see that complete picture.
So it's about understanding what's happening, but also figuring out how to manage globalization to mitigate those negative impacts and maximize the benefits.
You got it. Social science research can help us identify best practices, develop those effective policies, and build more equitable and sustainable systems of global governance.
So it's about shaping globalization, not just being shaped by it.
Exactly.
And this realization brings the sense of both awe and responsibility, doesn't it?
It does. We're living in this incredibly complex and interconnected world. But as we've seen throughout this whole deep dive, social sciences provide us with the tools not just to understand that world, but to actually make it a better place.
And it's not just up to the experts, is it?
No, it's on all of us.
We can be informed citizens, engage in our communities, make conscious choices that contribute to a more just and equitable future.
I couldn't agree more. The journey of understanding our world and ourselves is ongoing. There's always more to learn, more to explore, and more to discover.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of social sciences.
It's been fun.
Keep questioning, keep learning, and keep striving for a better future.
Great advice.